Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and a second attempt at recording this. I think they were right. I think I do have a concussion after the car accident. Gotta do my best here. Everybody's gonna ask it. The raccoon is fine. Less so for my car and me, but hey, I actually briefly forgot what this video is about, but that's why I left the browser tab open. So, huge story coming out September 19th. The MTG animated series is officially going forward on Netflix. We don't have many details. Now, September 16th, 3 days prior, I was covering a story that was starting circulation on some of the news sites that said, hey, I was one of the voice actors, and it is absolutely, completely, and totally canceled. I did some voices, it was a ton of time ago, and I can tell you with no follow-up and no word from them, it is a canceled project. So it can't be a coincidence that 3 days later, they just came out and said, hey, let me read it actually. It's happening. Netflix's Magic the Gathering animated series is now in production from showrunner Terry Matalas in partnership with Hasbro Entertainment and Wizards of the Coast. Not much to go on, but they say the animated series for Netflix, is now in production, heavily implying that they would have left out the word now if that wasn't like a state change. Like it briefly in the past was not in production and is now in production. You wouldn't phrase it that way if it's like, oh, it's now in production, if it started production 7 years ago. Unless they're lying. So the number one thing we want to know is this the script, the storyboard, and the already done voice acting from before? Is this the same series, or are they starting over from scratch? I'm not sure anybody has that answer yet. Is this just like, hey, it's still in production because it hasn't formally been canceled, but there hasn't been any work done on it in the last 4 years because Netflix doesn't have the money and isn't prioritizing it, or there was some other roadblock? Because remember, we have nearly no information about what's going on with the first project, other than one person saying, I worked on it, it's canceled, I think. He never said I received a cancellation thing in the mail or something, or like I was the manager, it's canceled, we had a meeting. But I think it was implied like, hey, I haven't done any promotional work for it. They haven't asked me to do a trailer. They haven't called me back to revise anything. And yet, where's the product, you know? So we know they shelved it. And we know that they had a lot of it done. But we know that they cut it because Netflix was losing money left and right. Like, that's the number one suspicion. They themselves said anything we've cut, like the hundreds of projects we had working on, we're going to scale it down because revenues are down because of quote unquote competition. By competition, they mean competition between everybody canceling it because of their woke garbage. Everything is unwatchable. Everything is trash. They haven't had a hit series since like Black Mirror, which, by the way, wasn't their idea. So what do we have to go off? Well, they said Terry Matalas. Now, he has made some interesting things. First of all, they say showrunner, which, what is a showrunner? I mean, I think when it's not a $500 million movie, it's just Netflix series, it's pretty much like director and like this, that, and the other thing. It's like director plus. Because on a smaller project, you got to do multiple jobs. That's my theory. So he made Terra Nova, which wasn't very good, 6.7 out of 10, released in 2011, 9 episodes and got canceled. I think I watched it. It was unbearable, if it's the one I was thinking of. MacGyver 2020, MacGyver remake. 2 whole episodes and was canceled, I believe, unless it was always meant to be 2 episodes. 5.4 out of 10. That's alarming. He was a writer. Slight correction. He was one of the people in Terra Nova. He was literally one of the actors. Then he was one of the creators and writers. So like the original, like I did the whole thing writers for the 12 Monkeys remake, and remake is a little generous, okay? You ain't gonna top Bruce Willis. That's one of my favorite movies of all time, 8.0 out of 10. If you haven't seen the original 12 Monkeys, holy crap. But I was like, whoa, they remade 12 Monkeys and I didn't know about it for the Sci-Fi Channel? Oh, and it wasn't a movie, it was a series? Oh, and it was from 2015 to 2018? Oh, I've watched the entire series? Oops. I just forgot that that's what it was called. Very competent, very decent. It's not like mind-blowingly good, but it's good, and it has a 7.7 out of 10. So the guy knows how to write. Now, the textbook definition of showrunner, and they use this very loosely in Netflixville, is the person who has overall creative authority and management responsibility for a television program. They oversee hiring decisions. They like basically hire the director if needed. But this is not live action, so he pretty much like doesn't need one and is one. The crew, casting talent, voice actors, that kind of stuff. They're responsible even for like the budget. So the showrunner is like they're like the business owner for the length of the business that is the show. And like I said, 12 Monkeys was freaking solid, and he was the writer and creator, but not the director. The acting was pretty good. The writing was like solid but not mind-blowing. And then here's the red flagger. Star Trek Picard, writer. Woke trash. Absolute garbage. It has a 7.5 out of 10 because of fake ratings by woke bots and activist morons. Here, let me sum it up for you. Picard equals angry old man. Federation actually bad because everybody good. The good guys are always bad and the bad guys are good because we're Hollywood and we're satanic. The bad guys are just misunderstood. You just don't get it. They're not that bad. The good guys are the ones that are bad. In fact, everybody's bad. So just do whatever and believe whatever you want. Yeah, he wrote for that trash. He wasn't the showrunner or producer or director, but he wrote for that trash. I don't know about the MacGyver remake, which was a train wreck. I don't recall 12 Monkeys being woke at all, but that was 2015 to 2018. Picard was, and that was like 2 years ago. I don't know what to think. He has a good resume, I guess, but as far as I know, he has never worked on an animated series. So how do you be a showrunner for something you're not even familiar with? It's like a live action band member and you tell them, here, now go do like nothing but synthetic production on like an editing environment. They could be good at it. It's not like you're telling a singer to play the violin, but like, it's different. You could screw it up. So I think we're going to see a solid storyline. Whether or not it's woke trash or not, who knows? But remember, WOTC had to sign off on it, and they hired him on purpose. Well, they didn't hire him. They license the IP to Netflix, but usually with an agreement that says like we can check some stuff at certain points so that you don't go completely off the rails with this. Like we have like approval on this stage, and this stage, a couple hiring things, and maybe like the initial script. That's usually how it works. So they'll kick it back as not woke enough. Trust me. And he worked on Picard. So I think we're about to see a train wreck, but a competent train wreck. It's just going to be woke garbage. So the comments on this post on Facebook are pretty darn funny. We've got, as long as it's not about planeswalkers, I'll be happy. I hate planeswalkers. I don't know if that's a serious comment. I really still don't. They say, I really prefer an anthology about different characters and different planes and their cultures. And okay, maybe they're serious. But the next one of the top voted is, as long as we get an epic love scene between Chandra and Liliana while Jace watches from the closet, I'll be happy. I'm sure that's a terrifically serious post. And I'm sure one of the moderators or AI was dumb enough to let that pass because that is currently the most upvoted number 2 comment. Couple of people saying, oh, it should be this, you should cover this, it should be this storyline. I'm sure they're checking Facebook for people's opinions on where to steer the show. Y'all are wasting your time. What are you doing? But like the number 1 comment up until recently, they must have deleted it or suppressed it or something, was please, for the love of God, do not let it be woke trash or it's going to be unwatchable. Woke everything goes down the toilet, something to that effect. 100% correct. Other people making just epic references, like they want to see it just be like a docu-series on somebody starting on Arena and trying to climb the standard constructed ladder and then slowly slipping away their sanity, I assume. They didn't say it's not suspenseful horror. Somebody else says they want it to be about a kid who opens his first pack and then 10 years later he's smoking, then trying to hustle enough money to buy Secret Lairs and 30th anniversary products. I'd watch that. Another person, the story hasn't been good for a long time. The animation has an opportunity to rectify this, but good animation takes time. Yes, have you seen the Rick and Morty anime? That's got to be at least 2 frames per second. Yeah, the creators threw all the money at that. A lot of people said this better just be basically Arcane because Arcane was really good. Other people asking if there's going to be 27 different art styles of the Netflix where they're going to release a holo edition and then a special frame edition of the show. The number 1 comment was, didn't I just hear that this was canceled? Like I said, this could not possibly be a coincidence that it comes right after that story was making the rounds. Other people saying, yeah, look at Netflix's track record on animated stuff and the level of effort they've put in lately after all the budget cuts, after they lost all their subscribers. There is 0 chance that this will be good. And best comment goes to the person who posted, if they can't even manage a damn card game, how are they going to manage an animated series? And the answer is obviously they're not. Netflix is. They're just signing off on it and collecting, whatever licensing fee. They're probably dumb enough to sign a PFP, which is like paid for performance. So if it gets to this tier of views, then they get paid this. But if it gets to this tier, they get paid this, because then Netflix is effectively indirectly making more money off of it. Don't do that. Get static up front. It's Netflix. You can't trust them and they're not good for it. And they hide their numbers, so nothing's going to stop them from lying about it. Not that I'm saying or accusing them of ever doing that. I'm just saying they could. So this is going to be a train wreck. I mean, the only other thing is obviously what's up on screen. It's going to have a Johnny and Chandra in it, or that's like basically false advertising, and then something about lava. So I love a good Netflix series. Oh, I had to. Anyway, I'm going to go take some more Tylenol. What do you guys think of this? Is it going to be terrible or extremely terrible or somewhere in between? Let me know your thoughts. I'll see you guys next time.